We're now successfully able to visit our running web application inside the browser, but there's one last little thing that I want to point out. I'm going to start my container up using the image that we've already built, but this time I'm going to start up a shell inside the container so that we can do a little bit of debugging inside there. Remember that we can start up a shell inside of most Alpine-based containers by running docker run -it, and I'll put down my container name of Stephen Grider simple web, and then I will override the default startup command with sh. Remember, this is a reference to the shell program. It will start up a shell that we can type commands into inside the container. Now you'll notice that I did not specify a port mapping here. It's because we are not going to actually start up the server. I just want to attempt to look at the files and folders inside the container. So I'll run that, and then we'll get a command prompt based inside of the root directory of the container. Now inside of here, I'm going to print out all the available files and folders with ls. So inside of here, you'll notice that when we did that copy operation, we copied into the root directory or the root folder of the container. And so in this root directory, we can see the Docker file, a packagelock.json file, which is automatically generated by npm, package.json, index.js, and all of our installed dependencies were placed into this node modules folder. And again, these were all placed into the root directory of this container. Now, this is definitely not the best practice. And the reason for that is that if we happen to have any files or folders that conflict with the default folder system, like if we have a folder called var or root or run or lib, super likely for us to have a folder called lib inside of our project, we might accidentally overwrite some existing files or folders inside the container, which is definitely not ideal. So we're going to make a little change to our Docker file. And rather than copying everything directly into the root project directory, we're actually going to copy everything into kind of a nested directory instead. Now, rather than just changing the copy command inside of our Docker file and saying, oh yeah, copy it into like some application folder or something like that, there's actually an instruction that we can use inside the Docker file that is specifically meant to address this whole issue right here of accidentally overwriting files or folders by copying into a root directory. So let's take a look at what the instruction is. So we can add the work dir or work directory